for the use of money. Simple interest is money earned on savings account or investment. It can also be money you pay for borrowing money. It is money paid or earned only on the principal. The principal is the starting amount, the amount of money borrowed or deposited, and the rate is what percent interest is charged. Okay, so simple interest formula. Let me tell you a little bit more about interest. Interest is something that either you have to pay if you borrow money. Say, for example, you buy a car, and that car is $20,000. You're not going to pay the bank back $20,000. You may pay the bank back $24,000 because they're going to charge you interest for borrowing that money. Same thing if you put money into the bank. The bank is borrowing your money, so they're going to pay you some extra money in interest. Okay? So to find simple interest, the formula is I equals P times R times T, where I is the simple interest, P is the principal, and the principal is what you borrow or what you put into the savings account, so what you start with, times your rate, times your time. Now, whenever you put in your rate, you have to write it as a decimal, and the time must be in years. Okay, if you wanted to find the total balance of maybe what you owe on that car or how much is in your bank account now, you're going to take whatever you start with and add your interest. And it makes sense whenever you see the problems. Okay, example number 1. Rebecca put $600 in a savings account. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. What is the interest rate earned after 3 years? And this should be what is the interest earned after 3 years. Okay, so here we're supposed to be finding the interest because we do have the rate. That must be a typo. So, we know that we're trying to find I. Our P, our principal, is what we started out with, and Rebecca put $600 in her savings account. The rate is 3%, and when we write that as a decimal, it's 0.03, and then our time is 3 years, so it's already in years. So we multiply by 3. So if we take our principal times our rate times our time, we would get $54. So Rebecca put $600 in her savings account, but she earned $54 in simple interest. So if we want to find what is the balance after 3 years, how much money does she have in her account? Well, now because of interest, she has $600 plus $54 in interest, so she has $654 now after 3 years. Okay, well, what happens if we have months listed instead of years? Well, your formula still asks for years. So to find how many years something is, you can take the months, so 4 months, 5 months, and divide it by 12, and you'll get a decimal, which you can put into your formula, or a fraction. Alright, Blake invests $5,000 in bonds for 6 months at an annual interest rate of 7%. How much interest did he earn, and what is the balance in his account? Okay, same thing here. We're trying to find the interest. So we're looking for I. His principal, $5,000. That's how much he started off with. The rate is 7%. When we change that to a decimal, we get 0.07. And time, we have to convert into years. So if we take 6 months divided by 12, we see that that is 0.5, which that makes sense. 6 months is half of a year. So we plug in 0.5 into our formula, or 1/2. Our principal times our rate times our time here will give us 175. So after 6 months, Blake has an extra $175 worth of interest. If I were to try to find his balance after 6 months, we take the principal plus the interest, and now Blake has $5,175 in his savings bonds. Okay, well, what if we know everything except what the interest rate is? Let's find that. You put $1,000 in an account. The account earns $80 simple interest in 4 years. What is the annual interest rate? You're still going to use your formula, but now you know the interest and you're trying to find the rate. So you just continue to plug everything in. The interest here is $80. You started out with $1,000. Here we do not know the rate, and the time is in years, and it is 4 years. Okay, now we just have an equation. We need to go ahead and simplify that right side. So I'm going to multiply 1,000 times 4. That's going to give me 4,000 R. Can't leave the R out. And then we got to get R by itself, which is our rate. And we're going to divide both sides by 4,000. When we do that, we get R is equal to 0.02. Now, this is a decimal, and we have to make sure we change that to a percent because it's interest rate. And remember, in the equation it's a decimal, but it's still technically a percent. So this is going to be a 2% interest rate. And you can always plug in the same thing and make sure that you get 80 as your interest. You can do 1,000 times 0.02 times 4, and you should get 80. Alright, what if we're trying to find time? How long would Carly have to leave $5,000 in the bank to earn $500 in simple interest at 2%? Okay, so how long would she have to leave that in the bank? Okay, here we know we want the simple interest to be $500. Plug that in. Carly started out with $5,000, that's her principal. The rate is 2% as a decimal, is 0.02. And we're looking for how long that is going to take. Okay, we need to go ahead and simplify that right side to solve for t. 5,000 times 0.02 is 100. We have to make sure we divide both sides by 100 to find t. And when we do that, we get the time is equal to 5. So it's going to take Carly 5 years to earn that $500 simple interest. Okay, what if we're trying to find the principal? How much money did Carol borrow from the bank if she owed $45 in interest after 10 years with an annual interest rate of 3.5? Okay, so now we're trying to find P. We know that the interest was $45. Trying to find P. The rate as a decimal is 0.035. And our time is 10 years. Need to make sure we simplify to get P by itself. 0.035 times 10 is 0.35. Then we've got to bring that P down. To get P by itself, we have to divide both sides by 0.35. When we do that, we get that the principal was $128.57. That is what she started out with. Okay, try these on your own, see what you can do.